worry. Like you said, he's going to try and get back to his
But you
on
said
his
this
feet.
morning when you called me this morning that it wasn't about the money. So why are you making it about
Wait a
money
minute,
now?
we're not gonna, excuse me, everybody needs to talk to me
Yes,
and not
ma'am.
to each other.
Welcome back to Family Court Drama. On today's episode, we have a child support modification hearing. The dad wants the child support monthly payments to decrease from $510 to $253. The mum is disputing this modification and wants the child support payments to remain the same. Let's get into this case and see what the judge thinks is best.
Sweet, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are here on an order in suit for modification of support order and to confirm support arrearage. The state is non-suiting its request to confirm support arrearage, and there is not an agreement as to support. So if I may begin by taking testimony and calling Ms. Rios.
You may.
Ma'am, what is your full name?
Gwendolyn Rios,
And what is your child's name?
Julissa Alvarez.
And how old is she?
She is 10.
And do you recall the order signed August 10th, 2021 that required Mr. Alvarez to pay support?
Do I recall? I do not recall, but I'm sure.
Your Honor, I would request the court take judicial notice of the order in suit for modification of child support obligations signed on August 10th, 2021.
So noted.
Thank you. Ms. Rios, do you understand that the state is non-suiting its request to confirm how much Mr. Alvarez owes you under that order?
I'm sorry, can you repeat yourself?
Yes. Do you understand the state is non-suiting its request to confirm how much Mr. Alvarez owes you under the terms of the prior order?
Yes, ma'am.
And that amount he was required to pay you in child support was $510 per month. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
Do you know if Mr. Alvarez is currently employed?
Yes, he is.
What does he do?
He works for the city of Dallas that I'm aware of, and he also does upholstery on the side.
How do you know he works for the city of Dallas?
Every time I drop off my daughter or pick up my daughter, he wears his either shirt, his work shirt, or he's wearing a cap. And he stated to me that that's whom he works for.
And when did he state that to you?
It's been a while.
What's a while? Has it been a couple months, a year, or?
No. I mean, far as I know, the little comments that he tells me, he's out in the field, something with the water. He'll tell me he doesn't get out till 6:30 in order to pick up my daughter. He's told me he's made comments that he works for the city of Dallas.
When's the last time that you did pick up and drop off with your daughter and saw a work shirt?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I do not. Wait. These last couple of times he has not, the last 2 times he has not gotten off of his vehicle, so it was not the last 2 times. And he does pick up our daughter every other weekend. Well, the first, third, and fifth weekend.
And regarding the upholstery, how do you know that he does that?
Majority of the time when my daughter gets on FaceTime with him, he's out in the garage working on parts. And he'll tell my daughter that he's working on those parts. And I've always known since I've known George, he's always done upholstery on the side.
Do you know how much he charges?
That I do not know how much he charges, but he does do vehicles, luxury vehicles.
And when is the last time you witnessed him doing that kind of work?
My daughter hasn't had her tablet for about a month, so it'll probably be about a month. And I would say that he even told her he would call her back because he was out in the garage working.
Does he have any kind of certifications or educational background in upholstery, or is it just a, a do-it-yourself kind of thing that he learned?
No, I believe he went to college for it, if I'm not mistaken. He went to college for something. I don't know if he has any certifications or anything like that for that.
Do you know what he did for the city of Dallas?
As far as I know, he was in the office. He was he was doing paperwork, and then I'm sorry. Then he would tell me he was out in the fields. So honestly, I don't know what. I all I know it was something with the water.
Does he have any other children?
No.
How is your child currently covered as far as health insurance?
As of right now, I have not been able to get approved for Medicaid. So as of right now that I'm aware of, she is only under his insurance.
Are you in agreement to this order requiring you to at least apply for that government medical assistance moving forward?
I mean, I've applied, they have denied me. So I don't know if I will be able to get approved.
Do you have private health insurance available through your employer for your child?
I do not.
Do you understand that the state is requesting that Mr. Alvarez pay cash medical support of $140 a month beginning June 1st?
They did mention that to me.
1 second, Miss Rios, I need you
Yes.
to get somewhere and be stationary. We're in court. If you were in the courtroom, you would not be moving. And Mr. Alvarez, I don't know what has your attention wherever you are, but I need you to pay attention to what we're doing over here, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Sweet, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Ms. Rios, do you understand that any additional healthcare expenses that aren't covered by any kind of government or private insurance plan will be covered by you and Mr. Alvarez 50-50?
Yes, I am aware of that.
And so do you understand that based on income information made available to the state that we calculated Mr. Alvarez's support for child support as being $253 per month?
They did make me aware of that as well.
But are you requesting that his support be based on income from the city of Dallas and a side job as doing upholstery?
I want it to be based on his employment. Honestly, I'm not agreeing to the amount just due to the fact that just her childcare, her after school program childcare, it's $150. And we're going, and that's not even the original price, the amount that I'm paying, that I'm supposed to pay. I got that discount due to when I moved to Raleigh, I had food stamps, but I no longer get approved for that. So that's why I have that discount. That is the only reason why I'm paying $150, but I'm not approved. So if the school really does their investigation, they're gonna bump me up to the childcare is over $300. And we're settling for child support for $250. That does not even cover my daughter's childcare. How am I supposed to get her necessities?
Objection narrative.
I'm sorry.
Objection sustained.
So is that $150 per month?
Yes, it is. Not only that, I also had my daughter doing tutoring, and tutoring every day would be $15 a day.
And how many days a week does she get tutoring?
We stopped early this year due to the fact that I had a baby. So I didn't continue that, but it stopped in December. I was
Objection
doing
non-responsive.
Objection sustained. Ms. Rios, just answer the question that she asked you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
How many days per week was she doing the tutoring?
3 days.
Are you asking then that the court take into consideration the costs that you're incurring regarding your child's tuition and after-school care?
I am just not agreeing to the amount.
Are you requesting a specific higher amount? And if so, what is it?
The amount that it was set the first time.
So you're requesting that the court denied the modification.
Correct.
And just to be crystal clear, so you're wanting it to stay at $510 per month for child support.
Correct.
And do you have any safety concerns or any family violence that occurred since the date of the 2021 order?
There has been, I mean, I've gotten threats. Just not too long ago, he threatened me with calling Raleigh PD to my house, making accusations. That's why we've kept, I'm sorry, but
What kind of
yes.
accusations?
That day we argued and he told me that he would have Raleigh PD pull up to my house and he would say that all kinds of things were happening at my home.
Like what kind of things?
Apparently there's drugs being sold out of my home.
And when did this occur?
Just not too long ago. About a couple of weeks ago. Before we received this notice.
So are you requesting then that your address and phone number not be included in the order?
I'm sorry, but it has always been not included, but he's done his own investigation. He knows where we reside at. He knows all my information.
So were you aware that in the 2021 order, there was not a non-disclosure, your address was included or should have been included?
No, they told me that it was not supposed to be included. They told me it was not going to be included.
But
due
in
to
case
the
you,
family violence.
so, but
It's
moving
okay.
forward,
Moving
are
forward,
you wanting it?
moving forward, he already knows where we reside at, so I don't mind. I mean, if anything comes to it, then we know that we just have to get police involved.
So if you change your address or phone number, you aware that you're gonna have to provide that to him, and are you okay with doing so?
Yes. And he has to do the same, correct?
Yeah, there's no non-disclosure for either parent at this point, so I'm just wondering if you're wanting one moving forward.
That's fine.
Your Honor, I pass the witness and would like to call Mr. Alvarez.
You may.
Mr. Alvarez, what is your full name
George Armando Alvarez.
and where do you work?
I work at Heavenly Host Hospice Care.
And when did you start working there?
I've been there for about 6-7 months. Going on that, since I used to work for the city of Dallas. I was letting her speak, because it was in my turn. I used to work there, but due to me having to leave work all the time, I know it doesn't matter. I kind of lost my job having to work around Wendellin's schedule, So I have to find new meanings to deal with child support and make sure I get my payments on time. Have always been on time, never missed a payment, no arrears. And at the same time, this new job I'm working, and it's only $9 an hour because it's a temporary job. Is until I finish my probationary in 2 months, where I can get healthcare insurance. But other than that, I make $9 an hour, and she wants me to provide and need that. I still have her on
Objection,
my
narrative.
week. Okay.
Objection sustained. Mr.
But yes,
Alvarez. you can
yes,
just- Sir,
Heavenly Host.
listen for a second. If you
Yeah.
could just answer the questions that Ms. Sweet asked you, I'll give you an opportunity to talk
Okay.
later. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Heavenly Host Hospice.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And you kept leaving work at the city of Dallas. Was that to pick up your children?
to pick up my daughter on Fridays, even I had to work on Fridays just to go get her. Or if I didn't get her, I would miss out my days on her, which would be a Friday because she would give her to me Friday through Sunday, but was legally only supposed to give it to me on Saturdays. So she was actually doing me a favor, but that favor became like a burden. If you don't get her, you're not going to get her the whole weekend type of stuff. So yes, there's not just threats one way. She threatens me in her own kind of ways with my daughter, and that's not fair. You know.
So, and you attribute that as the reason you lost your job in the city of Dallas, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. It's a big portion of it.
Okay. And what did you do for the city of Dallas?
I was a water operator.
Do you have to have any kind of certifications or degrees to do that?
No, ma'am. But at the end of your first year, you're supposed to require a license or a clean water license. And sadly, I didn't get to even perform a whole year in that department because of the actions. Which I don't complain. I did it for my daughter, but same thing. I get left with no money.
So you stated that you were making $9 an hour at this current employment. How many hours per week do you work?
40 hours, sometimes 36.
And do you get any overtime?
No overtime.
And do you know how much the healthcare will be when you get it to cover your daughter on insurance in 2 months?
It's rarely range about what they're asking me to pay. The
So do you
140.
understand? So do you understand that once you put her on that insurance, you actually have to put her on it and provide that information to our office as well as Ms. Rios that the the cash medical support obligation would stop.
Yes, ma'am. But I'd like
Okay.
to say too, at that when I had the insurance for 3 years at the city of Dallas, not once did she ever take her to any physicals, doctor's things, or anything like that. I would have to take her on my weekends
Objection
because she would send her
non-responsive
home.
after yes.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Objection sustained.
Okay. Mr. Almaraz, do you understand that any additional healthcare expenses that aren't covered by an insurance plan will be covered by you and Ms. Rios 50/50?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you understand that moving forward, Ms. Rios would at least need to apply for a government medical plan?
Yes, ma'am. Just until I find some insurance for her. Yes.
Do you understand that the state is requesting you pay cash medical support of $140 per month?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in agreement with that?
I was in agreement to everything if that lady spoke about.
Okay. And do you do upholstery work?
I did do upholstery on the side years ago. It's been more than 4 years since I've done upholstery work for even any kind of side dollar. If I do any kind of work that she speaks of in the garage, I have my own vehicle that I work on in the truck. I got an old truck and I work on it, and that's what when I tell my daughter I'm working, that's what I refer myself to. So no, there is no extra income coming in.
Why did you stop doing the upholstery work?
Because it wasn't even a work, it was a hobby thing. And when times get rough, I since I know a trade, I tend to solicitate myself out to potential customers and for headliners and such things like that. But it's never for a job, not for a source of income. It's just a hobby. It's always been a hobby.
Do you have any school or educational background that led you to that trade or hobby?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I've always been into cars, and I went to auto body technical school for my associate's business.
And sorry, so just to clarify, why did you stop doing the upholstery?
I never started. It wasn't a job. It was a hobby.
But you stopped doing that hobby?
Do I stop doing the hobby? I haven't done the hobby for even myself in more than a year or so. I work on cars like my truck, like I stated, like my own vehicle is not being, having a job, you know.
Why did you stop doing the upholstery even as a hobby?
Oh, even as a hobby, because I just don't have time for it. It's a hobby, It's not a source of income. I never made it my priority to make anything out of that.
And have you ever worked in the line of work with the auto body and used that education for a job at any point?
Yes, ma'am. When I first got out of college, I worked at an auto body shop through their college work program, and it was at Classic BMW.
And how long ago was that?
Man, that was when I first met Gwendolyn back before 2012, 13-ish maybe.
So do you understand that based on your testimony of the current employment you have at the hospice, that we've calculated your child support as being $253 per month?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you're requesting child support be set to?
Yes, ma'am. Just until I get a better paying job, and it's not about not paying the money. It's just I got to survive too at this point. I like I stated, I also get my daughter on the weekends, and if I don't have no money to take her to have fun, what kind of dad am I as well?
Do you live in Dallas County?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you interested in joining the Choices program, which is a program in Dallas County that can help you find more meaningful employment?
Uh, at the moment, I'm gonna just settle for this right now, just until I get my ball rolling on what I need to get back going to get back in the same field I was in before, because I only owe a little bit in my studies to get my license, and she would get her money back to where she was getting before if I could just focus and build myself back up as well.
You said you have a little more to do to get your license. What is it that you need to do?
I got to go to classes and study 40 hours a week for a class in all 4 months. So do you do the math? If I do 40 hours a week for the next 4 months, that's until I get the rest of my water license, because I was only in that department 7 months until I started getting write-ups for having to leave work early to pick up my daughter.
What steps
So
have you taken to complete that course?
I got to take TCEQ classes, math classes, just in general classes that, calculates mass of water.
So, what steps have you taken to enroll in those classes, or what have you done?
I've actually been calling to see if I can take the test on my own, but it hasn't worked out because I just don't have the extra funds, because the classes are $300 for a class, to participate. It was free when you worked at the city, but when you don't work for the city no more, you have to pay out of pocket.
Do you understand that you will be billed for court costs by the District Clerk of Dallas County?
I will be billed,
Yes,
or we will be billed.
you will be billed.
Why is the bill stuck on me and not half and half? Just asking.
So do you agree or disagree to being billed, or are you requesting that it be split?
I requested it be split.
Um, and are you in agreement or disagreement with Ms. Rios having a non-disclosure?
Miss
It
Sweet,
to
why
me
are
to
we
me.
going over the non-disclosure? Miss Rios already said she doesn't mind. She didn't want the non-disclosure.
Yeah,
I
and then
withdraw the question, Your Honor, and pass the
Okay.
witness.
the non-disclosure. It was never about being finding where she
Mr.
knows.
Alvarez,
I just
Mr.
always want to
Alvarez,
know where my daughter.
no need to give us an answer. We're
Okay,
not
I thought.
doing a non-disclosure, sir. Okay?
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Is that all, Miss Sweet?
Yes, Your Honor, I would request a ruling as to the child support and whether this should be a temporary order and Mr. Alvarez ordered into the Choices program.
I am going to make this a final order. I will order cash medical support at $140 per month, order child support at $253 a month, order court costs as billed to Mr. Alvarez. All start dates will be 6/1/24. This is not a contempt enforcement case, so I can't, if he doesn't voluntarily go into Choices, I can't order him into Choices. Excuse me? Miss Sweet, you're frozen. Or am I frozen?
Oh, no, it was me, Your Honor. I apologize. So,
Okay.
yes, Your Honor, I understand about the Choices. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
No, ma'am. So this is a final order, not a temporary.
We can make it temporary, Mr. Alvarez.
No, ma'am, I'm just making sure I'm hearing
I would,
correctly.
I'm sorry, I would request if we could make it temporary. Like he said, he's going to try and get back to
But you
on
said
his
this
feet.
morning when you called me this morning that it wasn't about the money. So why are you making it about money now?
We're not gonna, excuse me, everybody needs to talk to me
Yes,
and not
ma'am.
to each other. I'm gonna make this one final, Ms. Rios. Uh, I'm sure you'll find out as soon as Mr. Alvarez is working, and we can just come back and you can we can do another modification, okay?
Yeah, Your Honor, if you don't mind me speaking, can we do a review within the next 6 months to a year?
That would be between
Because
you and the Attorney General's office. I don't do
because
reviews.
Mr. Almers will not notify me. If he could get off of it, he will be off of it.
Okay,
And if you
well,
could get more
like I
money out
said,
of me, you can.
we're not gonna go back and forth, Mr. Alvarez. We're not.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Rios, that would be between you and the Attorney General's office. I don't do reviews. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anyone have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, then you're both free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Wow, what a case. The judge agreed with the father and will modify the current child support payments from $510 to $253. This is a final order and will remain in place. The mum obviously disagrees with this decision, but let us know what you think. Is it right to lower the father's child support payments? Tell us what you think about this case in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.